The state of natural equipoise. Bani. The moon of knowledge has risen in the sky. When you behold its scintillating light, the mind becomes enthralled. This is the Bani of Satguru Paltu Sahib. He asks, what is meant by the word gyan, or knowledge? You can deliver lectures based on reading scriptures and other books to any extent you want, but this is not true knowledge. You are only repeating empty words gleaned from the experiences of others. Many wise people have distilled the meaning of knowledge down to one brief sentence. God is one. There is no other. The totality of knowledge is captured in these few words. There is only one Almighty Lord residing within you. The many outer forms of the divine that we worship are all creations of our own mind and are subject to destruction. These outer idols and images are easy to understand. Even a child can bow down before them. But what is the meaning of true knowledge? When you lift your soul above the 9 doors of the body and cross into the inner etheric sky, then you behold the light within, and that radiance drives the darkness from your heart. This is what is meant by knowledge. When the mind becomes absorbed in the inner light, then true knowledge begins to dawn. Bani. When your inner vision opens, then the truth stands revealed. You see the false illusion of the world with your own eyes. Ram Das Swami tells us, the eyes of flesh cannot behold that inner light. Only the eye of knowledge can perceive it. He says, when you look with these eyes of flesh, you see all the material things of this world: mother, father, children, family, relations. This is all the spectacle of flesh. Even your eyes are made of flesh. And when you look with these outer eyes, you are lured and captivated by the material objects that are also composed of flesh. You cannot see what lies beyond this mortal world. But when the spiritual eye within you opens, then your whole being will be flooded with light. You cannot see this light with your outer eyes. The inner eye that beholds the Lord is of a different order. Until that inner eye opens, all of your so-called wisdom is just blind speculation. When the divine radiance sprouts forth, it chases away all darkness and illusion from your within. When that inner light becomes manifested, then all the false attraction of Maya disappears. Within and without, you behold only the one Lord. Bani. Recognize the secret of the Jiva and the Lord. Understanding comes through experience of the true Shabad. First, consider the matter carefully. What is the nature of the Jiva? What is the nature of the Almighty Lord? Search deeply in your heart and discover the truth behind this secret. The Jiva is an embodied soul. The body is fashioned from the 5 elements, and taking on the body, the Jiva becomes trapped in egotism. When the soul casts off egotism, then it becomes formless and merges into the Lord. The soul and the Lord are one power. It is just like the empty space within the clay water pot or butter churn. Each clay vessel has an empty space inside. When the potter fashions the pot out of clay, the empty space is captured naturally within that pot. And when the outer clay pot is broken, that empty space escapes, unchanged, the same as it was before the potter molded that vessel. Just like the clay pot is filled with empty space, this material body, formed from the 5 elements, is also filled with the inner spiritual power of the soul. That power is trapped in the covering of 5 elements and the sense of I and mine. This embodied soul is called a jiva, and when the sheath of the 5 elements and I-hood is removed, then the soul goes free. The power that enlivens the soul is the Almighty Lord Himself. First, think carefully and understand the nature of the Lord and the embodied soul. Then meditate on Shabad, as enjoined by the Satguru. Go on repeating the Simran of Nam, so that falsehood and egotism may not enter into your heart. In this way, perform the spiritual practices so that you can gain emancipation, and when your end time comes, you may say goodbye to this mortal world forever. Bani. The servant Paltu says, I have opened the curtain. When I entered within, the mystery was revealed. Paltu Sahib Ji describes his own experience. That thick curtain of illusion and egotism was thrown open. These are not just hollow words. I am speaking only after seeing with my own eyes. If you have not seen within, then even if you go on chattering like a monkey, repeating accounts you have read in books, still your words will all be futile and without savor. Bani. Leave behind mere understanding of the soul, rise higher and become absorbed in the power of the soul itself. This state of complete oneness is the sign of the true Shabd. Once you have understood the reality of the soul and the Lord, then you must rise above that understanding and leave it behind. The soul is encased in the koshas or sheaths, Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Jnanamaya, and Vijnanamaya. First of all, what is the most pressing need of the body? Nourishment. There is a well-known saying, first take care of your stomach, then you can offer your devotion to the Lord. Once you have given food to the body, then it can begin to dance. When you are hungry and have no food to fill your stomach, then you can't do anything at all. This need arises from the Annamaya kosha, or the sheath that is nourished by food. If you had nothing to eat, and if someone were to say to you, I will be sure you have 3 square meals every day, but you will have to sacrifice your life, you would not accept that offer. Your immediate worry about finding food would be forgotten, and your only concern will be to preserve your precious life. I can remain hungry, but I do not want to die. At that moment, your attention moves from the Annamaya kosha, or food sheath, to the Pranamaya kosha, or prana sheath. Your whole thought is to preserve the prana, or life force, in the body. Beyond this, you encounter the mind sheath, the Manomaya kosha. Say, for instance, that you have committed some error in your work, and you are facing disgrace and punishment from the authorities. Dreading the suffering you will have to endure, you may think, it is more than I can bear. It will be better if I end my life. Your attention has left the Pranamaya kosha, the sheath of the pranas, and has entered the Manomaya kosha, the mental sheath, characterized by intense waves of thought and emotion. Under the sway of impulses from the mental sheath, you may even consider giving up the pranas and throwing away your precious human birth. When you rise above the Manomaya Kosha, you enter into the Vijnanamaya Kosha, the sheath of knowledge. That sheath has two aspects, Jnanamaya and Vijnanamaya. In the aspect of Jnanamaya, you recognize the reality of the soul and perceive the falsehood of Maya. You see the Shabad permeating the whole creation. When this knowledge dawns in your within, then all the waverings of the mind and all the thoughts arising from the intellect are stilled. The soul realizes, I am Brahm. From this stage, the soul rises still further. The power of the mind has been left behind, and freed from the pull of the created world, you move into the aspect of Vijnanamaya, or deep knowledge. In Jnanamaya, the soul still remains trapped within the boundaries of the created world. There is still the sense of duality, the knower and the known. But in Vijnanamaya, the soul turns to face the Lord. You realize that the Shabad power is the motive power behind all that exists, and the knower becomes the known. The soul becomes merged into true knowledge and becomes the knowledge itself. This is the nature of the Vijnanamaya Kosha. Going further, the soul is drenched in bliss. The Shabad manifests within, and the soul becomes absorbed in that reverberating sound. No difference remains between them. Bani. Now the soul enters into Sun Samadhi and becomes free from the world. It ascends higher and becomes absorbed in Sahaj, the state of natural equipoise. Some devotees practice Saguna Samadhi, contemplating on that which has form or attributes. When you set up an image or idol of Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, Kali, Bhavani, or any of the other gods and goddesses and absorb your attention in that form, this is called Saguna Samadhi. When you still the thoughts of your mind and contemplate on an abstract God beyond form and attributes, this state is called Nirguna Samadhi. But beyond both of these types of samadhi, the soul experiences the Sunya Samadhi, or contemplation of the void. At this stage, when the soul escapes from the confines of the mortal world and rises into Parbrahm, then it becomes absorbed in the Sun. Now the body, mind, and intellect have all been left behind. You are wholly identified with the void. Your soul is perfectly tranquil and still. No disturbance of thought or desire intrudes there. In the Sun, the true Shabad becomes manifest of itself. The soul is etherealized, and the exquisite divine music resounds. The soul becomes wholly absorbed in the Sun, or void. This absorption is referred to as Sunya Samadhi. From here, the soul is drawn upward into Sachkhand, the realm of truth, and enters into Sahaj Samadhi, the state of natural equipoise, Bani. In the heart of that realm, become absorbed in the Almighty Lord. The unending devotion awakens within you. In the middle of this realm, the Sat Purush sits upon the throne of truth. Beholding the glory of the true Lord, the soul becomes transfixed, enraptured in adoration. In this realm, the everlasting bhakti is awakened. All devotion is worthy, but this devotion is of a different order, eternal and without end. Bani. When the soul goes beyond Brahm and enters into the Parbrahm, day and night it remains drenched in love. While still in this created world, the soul moves between states of wake, dream, deep sleep, and the meditative state of Turiya. But when the soul ascends into Parbrahm, it becomes Turiyatita. beyond the state of Turiya, or super consciousness. In the Parbrahm, the soul becomes merged into the power of truth. Beyond the three worlds, the soul is freed of mind stuff and becomes self-existing. Bani. Absorbed in effulgent light, your soul becomes one with the music of the spheres. Then day and night the self-luminous light shines forth. When your soul merges into that light and becomes the light itself, then the pure sound of the true realm begins to reverberate. Within and without there will be Shabd, and Shabd alone. Sweet harmonies of the celestial music pulsing with dazzling radiance. Bani. The servant Paltu says, "The saint is the Lord of the universe. When illusion runs away, only unity remains." Paltu Sahib tells us the saint is the Lord of the universe, the ruler of all the realms. He is free of all duality, the one, undivided, and self-existing, the sovereign Lord. End quote. The jiva gets stuck in children and family and relatives. It is inevitable. But at the end time, Ritu Devi, the goddess of death, comes to collect the soul because it belongs to Lord Kal. So first the female snake lays her eggs, then she eats them up. If any egg is spared, it is only because it rolls out of the reach of that snake. Otherwise, she will eat them up. Baba Somanath.